So being able to share something you love in the world and get paid to do it feels so empowered, but at the same time it's really vulnerable because it matters to you. You care about what it is that you're sharing. And when you care about what you're sharing, you're emotionally invested, and there's always a chance that you can get hurt. If you feel that your fear of teaching yoga more, of putting yourself out there more and taking that risk is holding you back, I want you to keep watching this video because we're going to talk about the surface level and the depth level of this kind of issue, how to address each and how to move forward so that this doesn't hold you back anymore. Hi, welcome back to Yoga Teacher Grad School. It's Q&A time. So a lot of people write in with questions along the lines of, how do I deal with my fear? I know what it's like. When you first graduate from your teacher training course, you may not feel completely ready to teach classes. There still may be self-consciousness. There still may be performance anxiety or stage fright that comes up. For a lot of aspiring new yoga teachers, this can be a major hurdle. So I want to suggest to you that you consider that the fear, for those of you who feel it, around putting yourself out there and going to the next level of teaching more has two levels to it. I like to refer to this as the surface and the depth level. Now, the surface level has to do with the act of teaching. In this case, right? You're scared of teaching. That's on the surface. The depth level has to do with where might that fear be coming from? Both levels are important if you want to overcome your fears. So the surface level might have various thoughts and feelings that show up when you find that you're in that fear about teaching yoga. These might be things like, I don't know if I'm good enough. What if they don't like me? I'm not sure I'll remember the sequences that I've learned how to teach, which are based on sound anatomical principles. What if I forget everything as soon as I get in front of them? So when dealing with these kinds of very common surface fears, the important thing is to step aside from the emotional reaction and really look at them rationally. I want you to consider that you've done teacher training. You've had experience practice teaching. Hopefully that was part of your teacher training course. Maybe you've taught friends and family. Through that experience of going through teacher training, practicing teaching, learning everything that you've learned, you've probably gotten some really positive feedback along the way. What I'd like to suggest you do in terms of dealing with what I call the surface level of your fear around teaching more and putting yourself out there is that you really spend some time reflecting and journaling about what you have to offer, about what your strengths are, journaling about the positive feedback that you've already received from people. I know there are probably people who said to you, oh, it makes perfect sense to me that you're becoming a yoga teacher. You have such a calming presence. Or, you know, you're such a patient and kind person. I bet you'd make a really good teacher. Or maybe in your teacher training, you received feedback like, good job on remembering the technical details in every pose that you taught today. That was great. Write all of these things down so that when you get tripped up in the surface level of your fear about teaching yoga, you have something that you can draw upon. You can do what is called reality testing. Test your fear on the surface level against the reality of what you know about yourself, against the positive experiences that you've had that tell you that actually when you get in front of the room, you'll be okay. I've been teaching yoga for the last 20 years, and I have to share with you that every step of the way, when I went from teaching classes to teaching workshops, when I went from teaching workshops to leading retreats, and when I went from leading retreats to offering teacher trainings, at each of those junctions, I had to face my fears. I had to deal with the surface level and also with the depth level. Now you might be wondering, what do I mean by the depth level of your fear about taking your teaching to the next level? So as the name suggests, this gets deeper, right? Your fears are normally coming from a deeper place. What's really helpful is separating out the surface level from the depth level. And the more you do the reality testing and realize, you know what? I'm actually good at teaching. I love teaching, and people love what I have to share with them. The more you get established in that reality, the more you can actually look at, you know what? My fears are from a deeper place inside of me. They have to do with past life experiences that were painful. They have to do perhaps with certain things I learned about myself in my family that are not actually true. They have to do with moments in which I felt rejected or judged or not good enough. This is deep work, but you can do it. And the more you do it, the more you'll be able to hold space for your students as they do their deep work. So what I want to suggest you do is spend some time meditating and spend some time journaling on the deeper roots of your fear, your inadequacy, your unworthiness, and be compassionate toward yourself. All of us have these kinds of challenges. Everyone has insecurities and fears, and the more we make those conscious, the more we relate to them compassionately, the less they hold us back from living our dreams.